advised, or my story time today, I will be discussing something very dear and important to my heart: celebrities and concerts. Those are two things that I enjoy very much. So I guess I'll start with a story time. So basically, one weekend, David Dobrik was having a pop-up shop in New York City, so I knew he was gonna be in the city, but I wasn't really. So then I stopped by because I thought he would be there, and he was there earlier on in the day, but then he left. So I was like, whatever. I don't want to wait in this very long line to get merch that I don't even want. So I ended up leaving and walking towards the city, and then I went to the World Trade Center. So we went to go not even sightseeing because we've been to all these places, but just like taking a stroll, I guess. And so on our way back up towards like Midtown, we were at a stoplight, and I turned and I looked, and I was like, that looks a lot like David Dobrik. So I looked at him and I was like, oh my gosh, that is David Dobrik. So whatever, we stopped to talk to him, but he looked like he was in the middle of something. So I waited a sec because I've dealt with enough of these situations that I'm like, okay, let me not throw myself at them and be all up in their face and in their personal space, like, oh my god, hi, can I get a picture? Because that's the worst thing you could possibly do. So I waited to the side, and I was like gonna say hey and like, can we have a picture or whatever, but he was talking, and then across the street are these like fans, which they were like, oh my god, like what I just said not to do. Like, I'm shaking. So they were, and I don't blame them because they're excited, so it's like whatever. But they come over and they're like, oh my god, David, and then they throw themselves at him and take pictures with him. So I couldn't get like a good picture, but I got one anyway. We're like in the middle of the street, mind you. So there's like a huge, not even a huge, but like a good sized crowd of people in the middle of the street in Manhattan.
Oh yeah.
You better die.
That was kind of rough. And he was there for a minute. So whatever, we saw him. He was with Jeff and like some other people from his group, and they were on like these scooters. So I had a conversation with them. We were like, oh, how fast do they even go? And he was like, like 30 miles per hour. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, don't crash. And he was like, yeah, the brakes don't work. And I was like, huh? Anyway, so there was that. They were wearing helmets though, so they were being safe. I got my picture with him, and it was a good time. Fun story. So now, how did I get there? The world may never know. So basically, my tips and tricks to you are to stay, if you want to meet a celebrity, is stay updated with not their location, but just like if they come to your city, just like be aware of that. And then if they post things on like their Instagram stories or stuff, obviously like they're out and about, don't like stalk them and try to like follow them. But maybe like if you live in like New York, for example, if you live in like Queens and they're in Midtown, maybe you want to like just take a stroll around Midtown and like walk around, see if you see anybody, and always keep your eyes peeled. That's the key, because people always forget that anyone can be walking by you. And if you're in New York City, especially, like you're walking so fast, you don't even look at, like when I walk into the city, I don't look at anyone. I just go. I look at my destination and I go. So you just got to be aware of your surroundings. And also, like, sometimes people will post their they'll put like a location tag, which obviously if they put a location tag, they want to be found, like but yeah, so just like keep those things in mind. And also sometimes a lot of these people have free events or pop-up shops like David Dobrik had, so you can go to those, and most of the time they will be there for you to see them and meet them, and it always has like a good story with it, like David Dobrik or whatever. Obviously, like for singers and stuff, if they have concerts, you should definitely like get tickets to those, which maybe for like next week I'll show you how to get these discounted ticket prices, because we're not trying to pay these $500 tickets and like extra $200 Ticketmaster fees, because they be playing us. Anyway, so some other tricks, just some tips for like when you're meeting someone that's famous. Don't be like crazy, like I just said. Obviously you're gonna be happy and you're gonna be overjoyed with emotion, but don't like they're just a person too, so don't like go up in their space, because I don't think you would like it if some random stranger just like ran up to you and just like started hugging you and you don't even know them, and then it's just weird and awkward. So obviously like show your excitement, be like, oh my gosh, like I'm so happy to meet you, you know, I've been a fan for a long time, but then don't be too much, you know. Obviously some people cry, you can't really control that, sometimes it just happens. But if you cry, your picture might not be as good, so come on, keep that in mind. Anyway, yeah, those are my tips and tricks. Also, if you live in a big city, you have more chance of meeting people, so just move to New York or LA.
When you lived in New York your whole life and you know, never met anyone.
Oh, facts. Oh, actually, no, that's not facts. Never mind.
Sean Mendes, David Dobrik. I met Fifth Harmony before because they had a pop-up.
I met one of them at BeautyCon. I don't remember who it was though.
Lauren.
Yeah, probably.
Also, they have sometimes secret sessions, like musicians have secret sessions that you can go to. So if you're like on Twitter, and like usually like radio shows will put out a thing that says, hey, like calling all super fans, and then they'll like enter you in a drawing, and if you get chosen, you get to go. So those are cool things that you can look out for too.
That's so dope. I like how you talked about that. I might take your advice.
Oh, me too.
I'll come through we'll go for a rodeo.
Yeah, the first time I met Danielle, like the second time, like I was supposed to Danielle, she was like, yeah, you know, I meet celebrities. I was like, okay, cool, that's what we're doing. And then quarantine happened, and so we didn't do it.
Yeah.
But
like, no, anytime from now on that Danielle is going to the city,
we're all.
if she makes it known to me, I will go. Because
I ran into someone from Teen Wolf last time. I don't remember which character it was, but I know it was someone from Teen Wolf.
Crazy. Could never be me.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah.
My story time is a little more serious, but I look back on it and I laugh. So over winter break, me and my friends almost got kidnapped.
It's a little, yeah, not a little more serious. This is very serious.
What? Okay.
Okay. So, also I'm really paranoid, so like keep that in consideration. But me and my friends were at the mall, like we went to like a virtual reality place because they just opened it up, right?
Place?
And then, yeah, like a virtual reality place. It's so fun, by the way. I loved it. But then my mom was like, can you get a case of water from Target? Because in my mall we have a Target. And I was like, sure. So we go into Target. One of my friends like goes to like community college, so she lives at home, whatever. And she like the whole day we were running into people she knew from school. So I think we were just like looking at like some of the Valentine's Day candy, because you know how Target has that little section. Yeah, so we were like looking at the candies, and this guy comes up to us. He was my friend Isabel, like, hey, like so friendly, and Isabel's like, hey, and I thought it was just like one of her friends, like from school, because like we've been seeing them all day, and I didn't think anything of it. And then this other guy, he was really creepy looking. He was giving us this weird look, like these weird looks, and walking towards us, and I was just like, oh, maybe it's just his face, but then I was like, that's so weird. And so then we walked down a little more. We have the water. We have like whatever we're gonna buy. And then like, you know, like from Frozen 2, how like Sven, like they had like a big reindeer or whatever. And Isabel was like, oh, I want to sit on it. Someone take a video of me. So we're over there for like a good 3 minutes. And the guy who said hi to her at the candy place, and then the guy who was like giving us these creepy looks, came back up to us and they're like, what's your guys' names? And like I was and at that point I was like, oh my god, like what do you want? And so I was like thinking to myself, I'm gonna like make up a whole story. I'm like, oh, I'm Felicia, and I'm like, oh my god, it was too late. And I don't know, one of the guys, he's like, yeah, my name is like Juice or something creepy like that. And they were like, yeah, we're not from up here, we're visiting family, but I went to like whatever school he said he went to that was in the area. It was so weird. And so they were still talking, and I was like to one of my best friends, I'm like, we should like go. I was whispering to her, I was like, we need to leave. And all of a sudden these 2 other guys come up, and so now there's 4 of them and 3 of us. And the guy Juice or whatever was like, I'll be right back. And they all give each other a weird look. And I'm like, oh, I have to go get something from the makeup. And I was like, I'm not buying the water anymore. So I wasn't the one who drove to the mall. Like my friend Isabel, she's in a wheelchair. So she has like the hand gears on her car. I was like, give me the keys. I'm like running to the car, I'll pull up around. So I'm like freaking out that they're following us. And I'm running in the parking lot. I face plant in the parking lot because I'm wearing Uggs. And then like I heard like they were following us at first, like when we were going, and I was like, just give me the keys. I like whatever. We were fine, obviously, but I almost got killed, probably. So that's a story time.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
I know.
Let me make up a story. My name's Felicia.
That
What
was
about you, Danielle?
My makeup name is Sophia,
Interesting.
but now I have to change it because now everyone knows.
Yeah.
yeah.
What about you, T?
Well, I don't want to change mine because I like my makeup name.
Or give us a
Okay.
fake one. Give us a fake one.
Please
Oh,
just tell us and crop it out.
Huh?
We'll bleep it out.
It's the name that I like from. It's what my future child's name is gonna be.
That's a pretty name.
I thought you were gonna say Katarina.
Oh no, that's one that I like too, but I like more.
Mm.
Mine would be either like Vinny or Vincent, I think. For
That's
one of those.
dope.
You look like
You look like I'm gonna
Yeah,
start.
that was
calling you-
almost my name. It should have been my name.
Oh wow.
It was my grandpa's.
no,
middle-
you had to be Dylan because your cheekbones are immaculate.
Right, thank you.
I told him that all Dylans have nice cheekbones. I realized.
It's a gift.
That worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, every person, especially females, should have a fake name.
Yeah.
I know this thing. I don't know. I bought this thing off Target. It's a thing, right? So if you click this button, it's a flashlight, and then if you pull this thing out, it sounds an alarm,
Oh.
and it brings attention to you, and it's loud as hell. So
Was it expensive?
I don't know. My mom got it, and she came home with it, and then she was like, "Here, have this with you." And I was like, "This is ridiculous." But then the more I looked at it, I was like,
Kind of smart.
quite useful. So
Especially if you're like walking home from a party late at night.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Ooh.
Walking, like, I never walk to the car alone at night. I always have Theodora come with me. Yeah. No, you should definitely take some more precautions, Felicia. Get yourself a fake name.
I know.
Yeah.
So never be too paranoid, I guess.
and never be too nice. You always have to know how to be like, okay, goodbye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Be like quick with like, yeah.
And, like, don't tell them any important information. And also, like, if you are, like, being followed in a car, you should, like, to make sure you're being followed, make, like, a square, like, go in a circle,
Like a random, something random.
so that, like, you know.
Oh wow, I'm like, I love all the clickbait I could use.
What? Yeah. Almost kidnapped.
Kidnap.
Oh, it's kidnapped.
I was in the vlog squad.
Yo, I'm dead. Okay, well, thank you for watching this week's podcast. Yeah, deuces.
Guys, next week.
Bye.